Hi, Thumos. How we living, gentlemen? How we living? These are books, the fantasy books that I consider metal, which means real. Real characters, gritty, real scenarios, brutal. Pillars of the Earth. The antagonist in this book, you hate him. You hate him. And to be honest, I'm not that far in. And this is not a spoiler. But he goes up to this weary traveler with his kids and his wife, and he says, that peasant's wife, I want to rape her. I want to rape that peasant's wife. He says, how much for that, how much for your wife, peasant? I should kill you right now and take your wife. That's what he says. This dude's brutal. And the peasant's like, leave my wife alone. You ain't going to do nothing to my wife. So, I mean, brutal. This is no Lord of the Rings, hobbits, hairy hobbit feet, singing underneath a hobbit hole, trilly, trolley, jolly, holly. None of that poetry, none of that BS. This is a real story about, peasants, monks building up this church, this brotherhood. It doesn't sound too fascinating, but it's good so far. And I haven't read it, so can I really recommend it? Yeah, I can, definitely. Anyway, let's move on. Next up on the list, and I got this bad boy right here. This is honestly my favorite book. All right, this is my favorite fantasy book, I would say. I used to be The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. For some reason, that guy still doesn't want to finish the series. We're waiting for book 3 for the last 10 years. Who knows if we'll get it. But my favorite book is The Lies of Locke Lamora. And if I was to say what type of metal this book would be, it would probably be melodic metal. Think maybe Era, like Golden Age Era, if you guys are familiar with the band Era. Augment Impulse Era, which is heavy but melodic. The Lies of Locke Lamora is about a young man and his crew. Almost like Ocean's 11 in the fantasy world. And they're smart, they're savvy. And they gotta do whatever it takes, even when they get into deep shit. Very good book. I like it. Very witty, thought-provoking, very metal, very real characters that are also, dark, and they get into some heavy shit. So I think you guys will enjoy that. Again, it's one of my favorite books. All right, moving forward. We're talking about the death metal of fantasy books. The Lorna Shore, the Slaughter to Prevail of fantasy would have to be Malazan. And I have not read all of Malazan, and I'm honestly probably not going to, but I read the first 3 books. Gardens of the Moon, and I forget the next 2 ones. I got them in paperbacks, found them at a thrift store, heard about Malazan. People, like, Malazan has so many different points of view. And there's gods that do not give a damn. There's warriors that are just bloodthirsty. There's armies that are insane, regimes. There's just crazy. I think it was the second book. If some of you guys can tell, well, I forgot the second book, man. But that was a great book. That was metal, and it was about this campaign, this army campaign that is just going in. Crazy, awesome book. That's death metal fantasy right there. Malazan, tell me if I should finish it up. Should I finish reading this series? I think it's about 13 books. The author is a wizard. I don't know how he does it. Dune. Is Dune metal? I know Dune is sci-fi. And Dune is a good book. Dune is a good book. I've only read the first. I saw the movies. The movies are great. The little thing here, I hate what they did with Chani. I do not like Zendaya, whatever her name is, playing Chani. She, in the book, is supportive of Paul. And I think, here's what I think. Maybe I should have made a separate video about this. I think that they're going to make Chani the hero, which totally goes against what Frank Herbert wanted in the books. Chani's supposed to be supportive to Paul. In the movie, she's kind of throwing her little tantrum at the end, little girl boss, little feminism power, and she runs off into, on her little sandworm. But if we're going to be real, and this Dennis French guy decides to make the third movie. If you look at the books, Paul is not a hero, but Hollywood needs a hero. So Hollywood needs a hero. So this Denis French is going to have to make someone a hero. Who better to make a hero than a woman these days? Because Hollywood loves women, big boss women, hardcore women. And I could see Zendaya with that resting Zendaya face becoming our hero, which would be, it would be an utter shame to witness this, because Paul, we all know, has a downfall, and Duke Leto, his son, this is not a spoiler because dude, it's a worm. He becomes a worm. And I don't think Hollywood's going to make that happen because that'll be weird. So, but Dune, is Dune metal? No, I think Dune is actually hippie philosophical if you read the first book. It's good, but is it metal? It kind of is. The Baron, Baron is kind of metal. I mean, some of these characters, but they're not ruthless enough. Maybe when he goes on his jihad, is that metal? Is it dark? Sure. I don't know. Let me know. Is Dune metal? Is it Dune a metal sci-fi? Speaking of sci-fi, I love sci-fi too. Here's a metal sci-fi book. If I can remember the name, Hyperion. Dan Simmons, I believe, is the author. I read that book, and it's a collection. It's 7 people that are on this journey, and each one has a story. I think there's 7 different stories. The first story, metal as hell. Just this guy leaving these, transcribing in his little diary, day 1, stuck on this foreign land. He runs into these idiot aliens. They're sure they're like idiot aliens. They don't speak. He finds all this stuff, like there's all of this Catholicism, mystic symbolism. It turns all out to be metal as hell. Hyperion. Another one is I love the main character Hadrian, which is a newer sci-fi, which is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rucchio. I read Empire of Silence, The Howling Dark, which is book 2, and then the third book, which I'm forgetting. I think the third book was my favorite. The third book is called Demon in White. This is a space opera. Awesome. There's some very well written, and this guy makes you think. He'll say something. His character has these internal thoughts that you see and you hear, and it makes you think. It's easy to relate to. Good book, but I put it down after that. I forgot what I picked up after, but very good. Okay, we're talking metal fantasy, black metal. Black metal fantasy, and I got one for you. The Shadow of the Torture, I believe, is the exact name of the book. Now, black metal, if you guys listen to metal, you got to have a certain taste. Sometimes it grows on you. They mix black metal with death metal. Who does that really good is one of my favorite bands. And they came out with it's Mental Cruelty. They came out with a great album. It's their previous album, A Hill to Die Upon. Great album, mixing some of that black metal elements in it. But this book, again, is you got to develop a taste for it. It was rough. Shadow of the Torture was rough starting out. Again, the author is a wizard. A lot of Catholicism, symbolic things going on. Hard to understand. Be wary. Unless you're a seasoned reader in the fantasy realm, be wary of jumping into that book. Same thing I heard with Malazan. When you're getting into metal, just like when you're getting metal, you want to start with something like maybe Bullet for My Valentine. You segue from Linkin Park into maybe Asking Alexandria. That's how it was for me. I would watch Asking Alexandria on MTV, and I was like, wow, this is actually good. Before I was listening to Lil Wayne, a milli, 3P, stuff like that, Eminem. And then I got a taste of A Day to Remember, asking Alexandra, and I'm like, wow, like I actually feel my testosterone going up when I listen to this. I feel it's cathartic. It feels like powerful, and I like that. Eventually, you graduate. You start to look for stuff that has a bit more heart to it, not just chugs. A little more melody. You go into maybe some metalcore. But anyway, that's all I'm saying is you gotta your taste grow. Your taste grow. So we're gonna carry on. I think we can consider this book metal, and this is maybe I'll leave it here. This is a book series that maybe not a lot of you have heard. This is the Tris Moon series. The Tris Moon series, very very good. I'm about to sneeze. The Tris Moon series was so enjoyable. I stumbled upon this series, Trysmoon, Tris Moon. Stumbled upon this series, got it on a Kindle, 4 books. The pacing perfect, has some of that old time classic fantasy. Like when you read The Wheel of Time, the first book, it's good, but there's some pacing. It just like, there's too many weird details. I don't like the female characters that much. Tris Moon, though, had that classic fantasy small guy, this little bard that plays the guitar in his little town. And then, shit hits the fan. He's a strong character, male character, good female characters that have this nice back and forth with the main character. It's a great series, man. That's a good hidden gem I recommend to a lot of you guys. Tris Moon series. Pretty metal as well. So that's it. I'm trying to think of some more. Maybe we'll make it part 2. But yeah, get to reading. Reading is great. Even 20 pages, 10, 20 pages a day, just sort of get that brain rot out of your head, help you focus, and be at peace. I think it trains your mind. It's hard to read these days. Just picking up this piece of paper, Kindle, and just focusing on these words. So it's very enjoyable. Get to it, guys. Let me know what your favorite books are. Other metal books, fantasy books, all right? Talk to you soon. Peace.